What's up? What's up, everybody? Tasha checking in with another video. Hey, y'all. This is going to be none other than my review for My 600-Pound Life, Gary's Story. So I told y'all I was going to come out early and do another review on My 600-Pound Life because I was just not seeing it on the app that I watch it on. And so I was like, let me come out and do Gary's story. Then by Wednesday, because the new episode comes on Wednesday at 8 p.m. on TLC. So I had that on my TV, but I missed Gary's episode last week and I kept missing it. So I had to get the app and try to figure that out. But I told you I was going to come and do it. And so here I am. If it's your first time joining me, go ahead and like this video, comment in the comment section, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. So my live days for My 600-Pound Life is going to be on Fridays. Okay, this is a this is a special day that I'm coming out because I want to catch up so we can be on the same page. Okay, because I missed a couple of. I think we are on episode. What episode is this? We're on episode 4. And so I missed the first couple of episodes, so I'm on track. I'm going to be on track, okay? All right, y'all. So let's get into this particular episode. His name is Gary Hawkins, and he is 32 years old. Yes, and his weight is unknown when it opens up. What I'm going to say to sum up Gary in this whole episode is excuse, liar, and excuses. Those are the 2 words that I'm going to use to sum up Gary in this episode because he definitely was both of those. He was getting on my last nerve. And this is why I always say with My 600-Pound Life, they can say, talk is cheap. You can say, oh, I want to lose weight. I want to be this way. I want to be that way. However, it starts in the mind. Like if you want to change anything, any addiction, any habit, any lifestyle you want to start or change, it starts in the mind. And Gary's mind was not there. So let's get into the episode. He got on my nerves because we open up right. First of all, he's bedridden. At 32 years old, he has gained so much weight that he's bedridden. He needs one of them little handles, almost a handle if you ride the bus in a major city and you hold the handles. What's up, Jabroe? I'm probably saying your name wrong. Hello, welcome to the live. What's up, N? How are you? So he has one of them handles he has to hold on to over his bed to pull himself up, okay? And so I'm just like, this dude is bedridden at 32 years old. He's that fat, like he's that big, okay? So we see a caregiver coming and we see a caregiver coming. What's up, everybody coming in the room? Make sure y'all go ahead and like this video. Like it up, 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 and subscribe to the Redefine Me channel. Welcome to the live. I'm doing a review of My 600-Pound Life. This is Gary's story. It comes on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on TLC. And so we see him open up and they have him naked, kind of naked. He wasn't all the way naked, but his top of him was showing. Y'all already know on these shows, they open up and they have them naked and they have them showing their big old bodies. And it's just like, we don't want to see that. But anyway, they do it. So he got on my nerves at this part because his caregiver comes over and he says he hates lazy caregivers. That has been his issue that he has had. And I'm just like, you hate lazy caregivers. Sir, you are like over 600 pounds. Somebody has to roll your big old tail over and you're bedridden. They have to roll you over. They have to wash and scrub and get between the rolls and all that other stuff. And you talking about you don't like lazy caregivers. I said, what the heck is wrong with you? Who is lazy? Anybody that signs up to watch this dude was not lazy. That got on my nerves about him, and there's going to be a plethora of other things as I go through the review. And so he gets up there, and one caregiver, I guess he likes, she's scrubbing him like she's scrubbing chicken. She's like, She's in there scrubbing him because you got to, because he's a big dude. So she cleans him up and everything, and then she leaves. Now in comes his mother. His mother in this episode to me was the enabler, because if the man is bedridden, he can't get his food. Because if it was me and you're bedridden, I'm going to give you what I want you to have. You're not going to be eating no 2,500 calories a day or in one meal. 8,000 calories a day. This is what Gary was on, and that's why he got that big. So if I'm your caregiver, you can't get up, you just going to be mad. I would be giving him salads upon salads. I would be giving him fruit, vegetables. He'd be in that bed crying, dealing with me, and I'd be like, well, you just going to either eat it or starve. That's the bottom line. But his mom was an enabler. So let's get into the story, right? All right. And one thing Gary said with the caregivers, he said it's a process to wash him. You gotta wash, you gotta no, what do you say? You gotta wash, rinse, and dry. Wash, rinse, and dry. I'm like, Gary, what are you, laundry? Like, I don't get it, but whatever. So his mom come over after the person leaves. She cooks him breakfast and she asks him what he wants. She comes back and she has a lot of food on the plate. It honestly was a lot of food, but I've seen more on these shows. Like, it was like eggs, some meat. She even put some sugar cookies on there. I was like, why is sugar cookies on the plate as a breakfast item? But the mom says, you know, she just gonna do what she do, okay? He said he's the youngest of 8, and he said he was a spoiled child, that the mom let him eat and have whatever he wanted. And I said, and that's the problem. He said by the time he got 10 years old, he was pushing 200 pounds. Anytime a child is 10 years old and pushing 200 pounds, that is child abuse. The parent is at fault. Because a 10-year-old cannot go out and get a job and buy the food. You're the parent. Why the heck is your 10-year-old pushing 200 pounds? I don't get that. But he said that that's what was going on. He said by the time he got to middle school and high school, he was struggling in school and all of that. He said he doesn't have his high school diploma, and the mom was having issues with him, so he had to go live with his older brother, okay? So he went to go live with the older brother. Once he got with the older brother, he realized that he liked music. So he started doing tunes, he started playing instruments. Before you know it, he got seen by a producer, kind of I guess a bigwig producer. I never heard the dude. I don't think I wrote his name down either. And so he had this hit song, okay? So he begins to hang out with celebrities and live a certain type of lifestyle according to him. And then, you know, that was his life at that point. After they wanted to do a video with him, so they wanted to fly him out and do a video, but he was too big to get on the airplane, so he couldn't do the video, and so he got depressed, and then he ended up stopped doing music. So he ended up having to go into a rehab because he ended up getting on drugs, being in this lifestyle. He got on meth, he got on crystal meth, and he was doing that. So he had to end up going into rehab paired with his food addiction, okay? So the story of him growing up, he did not have, it's not like he came from an abusive childhood home or anything like that. He seemed like he was going into a level of being successful, but then, you know, the drugs paired with the food addiction and everything messed him up. So fast forward, his mom ends up going to the grocery store for him. So he's bedridden. Of course, he can't go. So she FaceTimes him and asks him what it is that he wants. Of course, they always want to get the snacks. Get some chips, get some cookies, get some cakes, get some pies, get everything, get ice cream, get all this stuff that I'm not supposed to be having. And the mom is right there rolling around the store, grabbing everything that he wants, not considering that his health is a factor. And that's what I don't understand about some of the loved ones on this show. You say you love these people, and I'm not blaming them, because it is you as a person who makes these decisions. However, if a person is bedridden and they can't even walk, you are now the person that's going to have to do everything for them. So that means that you are going to have to bring the food and do everything that they need to get done. So if you're in charge of the food, mom, why is it that you are calling him? Why aren't you making healthy decisions for him? But the mom, again, has spoiled him and has become an enabler possibly his whole life, okay? So the mom gets the food, and she gets back to the house, and she makes him lunch. Child, the food that she made him for lunch, she gonna say it's a balanced meal. One plate had a bunch of rice, like fried rice, and the other plate had fries, potato wedges, and wings. And he literally sits back on the bed like this and he eats. He can't even sit up to eat. And my thing is, hasn't he ever been afraid that he's going to choke? And I think he can't sit up because he doesn't want to sit up. Because we see as the episode goes on that he does begin to sit up on the edge of his bed. But that to me is just troubling. Like, you sitting back eating all that fried food, and I'm pretty sure he wasn't eating it slowly. You could have choked. He could have choked and died. But for the mercy of God, this man didn't. So let's move on. So we get into the whole, that was the background of him. We get into the whole story with him. So on My 600-Pound Life, they go through a year of the person's life of how their weight loss is going to progress or not progress. So we start with month number 1. He gets the call from Dr. Now. So Dr. Now is a ballistic, I think that's how you say it, ballistic surgeon. And so he is the one that is going to be performing the weight loss surgery. Okay, and this is his show. So Dr. Nail gets on the phone with him, and he asks him, you know, what's your weight and everything? And he said last time he checked his weight, it was like 700 something pounds. I said, dang, 700 and something pounds on one body. That is a lot. And so Dr. Nail says, well, what do you do all day instead of laying in that bed? He says he plays video games. He checks his email. He looks at his shows. He does all of that. Everything he eats and does that. That's basically what he does. Okay. What else? So Dr. Now was like, well, who's bringing you the food? Because if you're bedridden, somebody has to be bringing you the food. So he says his mom is bringing him the food, but she's leaning more towards a healthy lifestyle. Lie number 1. We already saw on the screen that the mom ain't leaning toward no healthy lifestyle because she was bringing you 2 plates. She was bringing you sugar cookies and fried rice and chicken wings and all these potato wedges and all these other stuff. So the mom is an enabler and she is not feeding you healthy, okay? So that was line number 1. He says if your mom isn't around, he uses the apps. He uses like DoorDash and all these other places for people to bring the food. Now, since he's bedridden, either the people have to come in the house, in the door, and just bring it to the room, or the mom is there to grab the food and pass it to him, I guess. I don't know. But he said the mom won't be there sometimes. So the people from DoorDash probably come in his house and give him the food and then leave. Okay, that house probably, his room probably stinks. I know them DoorDash people was coming in there like, oh, God. They got back in the car and was like, that is the nastiest room I've ever been in. Okay, so fast forward. Dr. Nail said he needs to motivate himself to get out of that bed. Yeah, he has been in this bed for 9 years. 9 years in this bed being bedridden. The only time he has moved is when somebody had to come over there and wash his big old butt, where he rolled to the side and rolled this way, rolled that way, and they washed him. That's the only time he has probably moved because he's been in that bed for 9 years. I could not imagine staying in the bed for 9 years. Sure, I could barely get 9 hours of sleep, let alone staying in the bed for 9 years, and that's where he has been, okay? Dr. Now then tells him he's putting them on a 1,200 calorie diet. Okay, you know, he's giving them his plan. He's going to send him his book that he's written for him to get started on the plan. He wants him to do exercises and things like that. Okay. Then he goes to ask Dr. Now, so will I be coming to Houston? And Dr. Now said, you can't even get out the bed, sir. How you gonna come to Houston? I was like, exactly, Dr. Now. So, he said he think he's 740 pounds, but we didn't get no weigh-in in the beginning, so we don't know how big that Gary really is, okay? So fast forward, we get the PT that comes to the house, okay? The physical therapist, and her name is Carrie. She's a very pleasant person. She seems very nice, and she starts working right away with Gary to get him out this bed. So they start with leg exercises, and when they flip that cover back, child, it was like Freddy Krueger nails was on the ends of his toes. His toenails was this long, like my nails. I said, ew, oh my God. And they was flipping back. Child, I almost threw up. I said, oh God. His mom just bring him the food. His mom don't groom him or nothing. And throughout this episode, Gary don't wash his hair. He had dandruff all in his hair. His face looked like it hadn't been washed. I mean, he just looked a whole hot mess, child. It was just ridiculous, okay? So finally, the PT got him to sit up in the bed. bed, okay? She got a walker for him, and she said you're going to start using this walker to pull yourself up, okay? Carrie is so positive. She says she believes in him. She believes he can do it, and she's going to continue to work with him, okay? Fast forward, month number 2, okay? The physical therapist, Carrie, is still working with him. They're doing upper body that day, and he said that he fell off the wagon a little bit because he had some cakes delivered. I said, oh gosh, here we go. Here we go, here we go. It starts in the mind. But he had some cakes delivered. He said he fell off, but he said he doesn't think he fell off that much, okay? Fast forward, month number 3, okay? He has a call with Dr. Now. So the first 2 months, Dr. Now told him that he wanted that at that time he should be able to lose 100 pounds. Dr. Now said if you follow a 1,200 calorie diet, in 2 months, you should have lost 100 pounds. Is that true? Do y'all think that if you follow a 1,200 calorie diet that in 2 months you'll lose? You'll lose 100 pounds. My little background just fell off, y'all. Please forgive me. When you live, all types of stuff happen, okay? But yeah, I'm still trying to set up my space where I do my lives from. But anyway, Dr. Now said 1,200 pounds, you should lose 100 pounds. And so Gary is like doing this call with Dr. Now at month 3 to see if he actually made that happen, okay? Dr. Now, he said that it's hard to walk. Gary was being honest about doing nothing in between the physical therapy sessions because Dr. Now asked him, so what do you do in between your physical therapy sessions to make sure your mobility can be better? And Gary said he does nothing. Dr. Now said it's good that he's reading the book, right? Because he said he's reading the book, but Dr. Now said the book isn't magic. And so Gary started laughing. I thought it was funny too because the book is not going to magically help you stop eating and get up out of the bed, okay? He said he wants him to walk in a month. He said, again, he put him on a 1,200 calorie diet. He wants him to be able to walk in 1 month, okay? That was month number 3. Fast forward, we go to month number 5. Now he's going to go get weighed. So we're finally going to see how much Gary weighs, okay? So the transport comes. They got like 5 guys that roll up in this transport to load Gary onto a stretcher so that Gary can be taken to a special clinic near his house to be able to be weighed, okay? So they get him on the bed. Now, Gary was shuffling. He was shuffling from the bed. He's shuffling. I said, Lord, please don't fall on the floor because them guys is probably like, oh my God, we would have to pick his tail up. So he gets on this little gurney thing that they rolled in, and then they roll him out to the van and they take him to the clinic, y'all. Okay, so when he got to the clinic, they weighed him. Do y'all know how much this man weighed? This man weighs 764 pounds. Gary's weight when he got to the clinic was 764 pounds. I said, oh my goodness. Now, he told Dr. Now that he thought he weighed 740 pounds. Then he going to say after he got weighed, dag, I didn't know it was that much. Dude, you don't get out the bed, you watch video games, and you are clearly eating 8,000 calories a day. So what do you mean you didn't think it was going to be that much? Of course it was going to be that much, okay? So, he gonna say how to get that high. I was laughing. I was like, sir, you don't do anything. That's how you weigh 764 pounds. So, he hasn't lost anything, okay? It's been 5 months. Dr. Now laid out a plan for him. He said 1,200 calorie diet. He said he wants you to continue with the physical therapy, so working out, and he hasn't lost anything. So now he has to call Dr. Now to break the news to Dr. Now, right? So Dr. Now says that based off of your weight, you've been eating 8,000 calories a day. The mom is still bringing the food and enabling him. And it's just a mess. Dr. Now said, what are you doing? You ain't doing nothing. So Dr. Now still has patience with him, okay? He said he's going to give him a goal of losing 70 pounds in the next 2 months, okay? He says if you can lose 70 pounds in the next 2 months and walk, then he will consider weight loss surgery. Now, he didn't say he was going to do it. He said he will consider it. He said 70 70 pounds in 2 months and show that you can walk, I would consider the weight loss surgery, Gary. He says, okay, Dr. Nail, I'm going to do my best. You know, that's what they always say. Oh, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do my best. It's going to be great, blah, blah, blah. And it never is. Okay, it never is. They always make excuses, right? Okay, so mom says that they have been making changes, but because he can't be mobile, nothing is happening with the weight. The mom is also in denial and she's lying. I haven't been making no changes. If this guy in 5 months still weighs 764 pounds and Dr. Nail has given him a book with a diet plan to outline a 1,200 calorie diet, and in 5 months he ain't lost not one thing. Not only has he not lost one thing, he's actually gained some weight. Y'all have not been making any changes, ma'am. So you're in denial as well. And this is where Gary gets it from. So we fast forward to month 6. The PT comes back. She is getting him a motorized wheelchair, okay? So the motorized wheelchair, he gets up out of the bed. He gets to the wheelchair. He goes outside and he's flying around in the wheelchair and everything. He's like, oh, this is refreshing. And I'm in a wheelchair and I'm outside and all of this, okay? I think that motorized wheelchair was another crutch for Gary. I don't feel that that was a good idea. I don't believe that they should have implemented that wheelchair, okay? I think that was just another reason for him to not walk, but they gave it to him anyway. Fast forward to month 7. He said he's been going outside. He said, but his legs hurt. So here come the excuses. My legs hurt. I've been going outside, but I haven't been doing what I need to do. But he has a call with Dr. Nail because he said he had been avoiding him, okay? But he now has to face the music. He has a call with Dr. Nail. Dr. Nail said, listen, it looked like you ain't lost no weight. He said, it looked like you ain't lost no weight. And he says that Dr. Nail said, I said no carbs, no starches, because Gary said he's cut back on the carbs and starches. Dr. Nail said, what do you not understand? I said no carbs, no starches, okay? That doesn't mean cut back. So now he's saying, well, I want to see if you can walk, right? And this part took me out. He said, I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk. He said, well, how are you going to do that? Who's going to help you? So he said he has his neighbor coming over that's going to help him get up and walk. So the neighbor comes in and she says, hey, Dr. Nail. So she comes in, she holds the walker, he gets up out the bed, and he does 1-2 step. He does a Sierra 1-2 step. So he gets out the bed and he on the walker, he's like 1-2, 1-2 step, and then sit back down. And Dr. Nail was like, that's it? He was like, yeah, Dr. Nail, I mean, you know, I moved and everything. And Dr. Nail was like, that's not enough. And Dr. Nail was telling the neighbor, point the laptop down so I can see his feet. He looking at the feet, he like, and he did them 1-2 steps and sat down, and Dr. Nail was like, okay, I'm not impressed. He said, that is not enough to get you to Houston, okay? Dr. Nail said you barely made any progress in 8 months. Now, y'all know this is month number 7 going on month number 8. This man has barely made any progress. He still can barely walk. He still hasn't lost any weight. And my thing is, why are you wasting time? You're wasting Dr. Nail's time and you're wasting our time watching this crap. Because when I watch this show, I do root for the people. I do root for the people to lose weight and actually change. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people that get on this show that will aggravate you and frustrate you because they don't have any desire to change. And you would think that a person that is 764 pounds will want to change because their life is on the line. But if it's a mental thing and if they're not ready, they're not ready. So fast forward month number 8, we sending Gary back to the clinic so that he can get weighed in. Okay, he said he plans on walking to the transport. Gary was so delusional, okay? He feel like getting up on his walker, taking 2 steps, getting in the motorized chair, driving out to the transport, then having these guys move him over onto the bed was walking. Sir, you didn't do no walking. He gonna get to the clinic and tell Dr. Nail that he walked about 50% to the transport. Even Dr. Nail was like, 50%? I said, you know he lied, Dr. Nail. So he gets out to the clinic to get weighed, y'all. Do y'all know how much his weight was? So at his last weigh-in, he was 764 pounds. At this weigh-in, he ended up being 759 pounds. 6 pounds. He's lost 6 pounds in 8 months. Then he talking about some Dr. Now ain't gonna be happy about this. I've been making some changes. It should have been better. Blah blah blah. Lies, Gary. You ain't lost but 6 pounds in 8 months. Shoot, even if I wasn't on Dr. Now's plan, I freaking can lose more than 6 pounds in 8 months. It's like, come on. So he calls Dr. Now, right? And Dr. Now tells him, he says, Dr. Now said, you barely lost anything. You lost 6 pounds in 8 months. That ain't nothing compared to somebody who weighs 700 and something pounds. He's like, you know what? I'ma still have mercy on you. I'ma give you 2 more months, Gary, to lose 70 pounds. He said, if you ain't lose 70 pounds in 2 months, we are done. Our relationship is over. Don't look to call me back. I'm not doing no weight loss surgery. Don't look to come to Houston. Good luck with your life. Yada, yada, yada. So they hang up the phone, right? Okay. Month 10 rolls around. Okay, the crew is there again to take him to the clinic to get weighed in. Okay, so he took Dr. Now saying, Dr. Now said at the minimum lose 40 pounds, but at the max lose 70. All Gary heard was 40, okay? He wanted to do the bare minimum. So he gets to the clinic. They weigh him in, y'all. So the last weigh-in, he was 759 pounds. This weigh-in, his last weigh-in, 753 pounds. This man is still eating 8,000 calories a day and is not moving or doing a daggone thing. He is freaking, it seemed like when he got to the clinic for his last weigh-in, he had more dandruff in his hair. His shirt was all messed up. Like, he just a whole hot mess. He is messed up. And I don't understand why Dr. Paradise wasn't inserted, because they have a therapist that talks to them. But I think Dr. Paradise was not inserted because Gary's background didn't have no trauma attached to it. The problem with Gary is that he's lazy and he doesn't really want to lose the weight, and his mom is a enabler. So that's his problem. So he calls Dr. Now, right? And Dr. Now said, I done did everything I can do, dude. I done gave you the book. I done gave you an eating plan. I done told you to get on 1,200 calories. I done sent a physical therapist to your house. I can't help you no more, Gary. I'm sorry. And so he says, I'll continue to send the physical therapist to your house if you want to continue to work out, but I'm over it. You've not done barely anything. So month 12 rolls around, which is the last month with Gary, and he is outside with the PT Carrie. And she's up here like, okay, let's walk. Let's see if we can walk and everything. He comes out there in his motorized wheelchair. He gets up on a walker, and he now walks about 8 steps, okay? Because he was walking and walking and walking, and I'm thinking he took, a lot of steps. But no, Carrie told us it was a total of 12 steps. And the way that she said it to him, he was like, woo. He's like, that was a lot of steps. She was like, it was 12. So, yeah, Gary, I didn't see no update on Gary on the YouTube streets or on Google. Apparently, when I did look for an update, I still saw pictures of him when he was at his large weight. So, I'm praying for Gary because, if you don't take care of yourself, eat properly, and get the weight down, you could die. And he's 32 years old. I'm just surprised that he is still able to be alive and open his eyes every morning, that his heart is still working, that his blood is still pumping, and that he hasn't had a heart attack yet. But anyway, y'all, that's my review of my 600-pound life, Gary's story. This is season 13, episode 4. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for joining. Go ahead and like this video. Comment in the comment section, replay watches, what you thought about Gary's story. Most importantly, subscribe to the Redefine Me channel. We have a great time over here, okay? All right, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here, and I will see y'all later. I will be doing my lunchtime language video tomorrow at 6 p.m. where I talk about hot topics and current events. I also will be doing my 600-pound life review on Friday, okay? That is my regular day to do the review on Friday, okay? So I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for joining me. Until we meet again.